Hey you guys, my name is Christina and this is my puppy Kana. It's my baby Kana. She hates being on the camera. She's gonna leave as soon as we do this. But we are Black women love dogs. Yes, we are. She's like, no, we're not. Yes, we are. We are Black women love dogs. We are Black women love dogs. Black women love dogs 'cause we love dogs. Yes, we do. All right, you can go. I have to give you guys a story time, okay? It was, I don't even know what day it was. It was a random day of the week. I think it was like a Friday, a Thursday or Friday. And I had just gotten off work. I work from home and I had just gotten off work. So I closed my laptop and my dog and I went to go sit on the couch. We started sitting on the couch and kind of made this weird like type of noise, and she normally makes that noise like if somebody is hurting her or if like something like shocks her. Like if she's shocked, she'll make that noise. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, baby, what's wrong? I always say like, baby, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. Because I knew I hadn't hurt her. Like we were just sitting on the couch like we normally do. And I was like, baby, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. And so she jumps and she goes to the window and she starts making a little like there's something wrong noise. So I was like, okay, either there's somebody on our property, because sometimes people come to my house trying to sell stuff, or like maybe a squirrel or something, or maybe like somebody stopped in the middle of the road, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, let me just see what she's doing, because if she's making that noise, which she normally doesn't make unless there's something really wrong with her, there could be an issue. So let me just look out the window and see what's going on. So I look out the window and I see a huge German Shepherd, like a huge German Shepherd. So I'm like, okay, like, is somebody coming to visit me? Because I don't know anybody with a huge German Shepherd right now. Like, I used to have friends, but they don't have that dog anymore. So I'm like, whose German Shepherd is this at my house? So I open our front door and of course my dog goes crazy. She starts barking. So I tell her, thank you for letting me know, like I normally do. Like if Kana starts barking at the door, I've started to do this thing where I say, thank you for letting me know, and then I take her to another room, because I need her to understand she doesn't have to overdo things every time something happens at the front door. I'm trying to teach her slowly but surely. So after I take her to the other room, I open the door very slowly because I don't know what the dog's, temperament is. I don't know if the dog's angry. I don't know what's going to happen. So I open the dog very slowly and I'm like, hi, baby, like, hi. And the dog is just like really friendly and like hyper. So sometimes when the dog's hyper, I'm trying to like calm it down and be like, okay, calm down, you can't jump on me. And I started looking up and down the street like, is somebody like looking for their dog? Like, did their dog just like run off the leash? Because Kana's done that millions of times. So I'm like looking up and down the street. The street is completely quiet. There's nobody coming, and my street is one of those streets you can see like down the road. So it's not a thing of like, oh, maybe like somebody's turning the corner. No, you can like see the whole street. So you don't have to look that far. I'm looking and I don't see anybody with this dog. I don't see anybody looking for this dog, and I don't see a leash attached to the dog, nothing. I just see it has like a silver chain around its neck. So when I realized that there's nobody looking for this dog, there's nobody like on the road, I'm like, okay, so obviously this dog escaped from somewhere. I don't know any of my close neighbors that have dogs. So I'm like, how far have you traveled? Like, the dog looked like it was a pretty healthy dog. It didn't look like it had been abandoned for a long time. It looks like it might have just like run out of somebody's yard or something. And it's a big dog, so like smaller dogs I can understand, but this is a big dog. So I'm like, okay, maybe the owners aren't home, maybe the dog jumped over the fence or something. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? So of course, whenever I am stumped and I don't have any idea what to do, I called my mom. So I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, you won't believe it. And she's like, what? And I'm like, there's a dog here. And so I FaceTime her. And she's like, what is that dog doing here? And I'm like, I don't know. That's why I'm calling you. Like, what should we do? So she was like, oh, just bring the dog to the backyard and see if it needs water and food or something. And like, start seeing if you can find out like where the owners are. And I was like, let the dog in our house? And she's like, yeah, I mean, it can't stay outside. And I was like, you're right about that. So I ended up taking the dog to the backyard, and my dog was having so many issues. Like, she did not like the fact that she heard a dog go through her house. So I let the dog in our backyard, and I was like, okay, let me see how the dog acts. So the dog was very playful, just playing around, sniffing everywhere, peeing a lot. And the dog was it had this weird thing where it only liked peeing like on concrete. It was weird. I was like, my dog always pees in grass, so I wasn't used to that. But the dog only wanted to pee on concrete, so like it was peeing everywhere. And I was like, okay, this dog seems okay. And I was like thinking, is it okay to have Kana come out and meet this dog? So I was really scared because I was like, what if this dog is friendly to me, but it doesn't like other dogs? So I was like, should I even risk this? So first I brought Kana out and I let them smell each other through the glass, and the dog didn't seem like it got aggressive when it saw her. It didn't start barking at her or anything. If anything, Kana was the one that was barking at the dog like, why are you here? Why are you in my backyard? Why am I locked in the house and you're outside? What's going on? So I ended up opening the door, and Kana immediately runs out. The dog follows her, and I'm over here like, my heart and my chest are like hurting because I'm like, this dog is huge. I don't need it to hurt my baby. So I have my phone in my hand, but I'm also like, I try to follow them. But of course, dogs are way faster than I am, but I'm trying to follow them, keep up with them to make sure that Kana doesn't get hurt, because that's my baby. You're not hurting my baby. So anyway, long story short, they're out there. They end up having fun. They're just chasing each other. I was just overreacting, overthinking everything per usual. They were having a great time, just going after each other, running, chasing each other. Kana chased the dog. The dog chased her. They were having a great time. I was enjoying it immensely. I've always wanted Kana to have a best friend in the neighborhood, and she doesn't have that. So I was enjoying it. But then I realized, if this was my dog that was lost, I would want the person that found my dog to contact me immediately, because I would be having a full-blown panic attack. Full-blown panic attack. So I said, you know what? I need to find this dog's owner. So since my mom wasn't there, I was like, what's the next best thing? I said, my best friend. So I called her. She had just got off work as well. And so she came over, and I didn't tell her I found a dog. I was like, please come over. There's something really crazy that happened, and I want your advice. So she came over, and I showed her the dog, and she said, what the heck? And I was like, yeah, there's a dog here. And she was like, where is it from? And I was like, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. So basically, we end up thinking to walk the dogs around the neighborhood and see if we can find out the owners. So we walked the dogs around, my dog and the dog that we found around, because it didn't have a collar or anything. So we just started walking the dog around the neighborhood to find out if maybe somebody's calling after the dog, looking for the dog. Because if it was me, I'd be walking up and down the streets trying to find the dog. So we started just walking around. We didn't see a sign of anybody looking for a dog or anything. So then I was like, okay, we gotta do something else. And my friend was like, why don't we take the dog to a vet to see if the dog has like a chip that can locate, like have the owner's information and everything. And I was like, that's so smart, because Kana has one of those. Let's go to the vet. So we have a vet like probably 5-6 minutes from my house that I actually never have been to. So I was like, maybe I should take Kana here. So we end up going to the vet. They scanned the dog. They said that they can't find a chip on the dog anywhere. So that's when I'm like, oh man, like, how am I going to find this dog's owner? So then my mom comes over after my best friend has to leave, and we end up like walking the neighborhood again. And by this time it's getting dark, and we're like, okay, are we going to end up having to have this dog stay at our house overnight? And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't want the dog on my bed. Because number one, Kana sleeps on my bed because I know where she goes. I know that she's in the backyard. I wipe her when she comes from the backyard. I wash her, and she's normally clean. Like, my dog is clean. So I let her sleep in my bed. I can't have them sleep together because I don't know how the dog is. And the dog, she was taking over all the kind of stuff. She took her ball, she took her bed, and kind of, I could tell she wasn't liking this arrangement. She didn't like that the dog was like staying. So I was like, I really have to find the dog's owner before it's time to go to sleep. So I end up going on an app. There's this app called Nextdoor, I believe. And that's how you keep up with neighbors and everything like that. And so my mom had started calling, because my mom fell in love with the dog like immediately. And she was like, if the owner doesn't want this dog, I want this dog. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, you can't do that. Because if it was Kana, you wouldn't want somebody to keep Kana. So I was like, okay, so let me see if anybody's lost a dog. So I looked up in the app, lost dog. I think I just typed in lost dog or dogs, find dog or something like that. I typed in lost dog or something. And the first thing I saw was like 2 hours ago, because we had the dog for probably like 4 hours altogether, I think. So it said 2 hours ago, somebody had written a post. If you found a German Shepherd, please contact me. And they had a picture of a German Shepherd, but the German Shepherd picture really didn't look like the dog. So I was like, I mean, how many people have lost German Shepherds in our area? Like, maybe this is the person. So I find the person's number and I'm like, can you describe the dog that you've lost? And they say, oh, it's not my dog, it's my neighbor's dog. I'm just helping them out because I have the app. I'm like, okay. And so he goes over to the house, I guess, and he talks to the dog owner, and the dog owner's like, oh my God, did you find the dog? And I was like, yeah, I found a dog. Can you please like describe what the dog looks like? And he was like, oh, the dog's name is this, and it had this on. And I was like, okay. So I called the dog by the name they said, and the dog immediately responded. So my mom had picked a name for the dog because she was like, oh, I'm keeping this dog. And she had picked a name, and the dog didn't respond to the name that she kept saying. But as soon as I said the name that the owner had said that the dog had, like the dog's name was, the dog responded immediately. So I was like, come here. And the dog's name was Zoe. And I was like, come here, Zoe. And she came running to me. And I was like, oh, okay. This is his dog for sure. And so I told him to meet me at the Planet Fitness near our house. And so we ended up meeting at the Planet Fitness, and I was like, I have your dog. And so I let the dog out and it ran over to its owner. You could tell that they knew each other. So yeah, that's the story of how I had 2 dogs for a few hours. Like, it was the cutest thing though. I really enjoyed seeing them interact with each other. They were literally the cutest things together. I promise you, if I could have both of them play together anytime, I would. The neighbor, I think there was like a language barrier, so we weren't really able to talk much. Like the neighbor said thank you, but like that was basically the only conversation we really had. But I miss Zoe. Zoe was a big, adorable baby, and I was shocked that she just happened on my doorstep. I was like, is it because I have a dog that you could smell a dog on my property? Like, why would you come to the one house that has a dog in the owner's home? You know what I mean? You could have ended up on anybody's doorstep. So I'm glad that she found me. So just know, if you lose a dog and Black Women Love Dogs finds it, I'm going to make sure you get your dog back, like, by any means necessary. But yeah, that's the story time. I know it was a little bit long, but that was a crazy experience for me. I thought it was super cool though that I was able to find the owner the same day, because I would have freaked out if it was Kana and I didn't get her back the same day. Whew. So let me know down below if you've ever found a lost dog, if your dog has ever been lost and you found them the same day or like the next day or whatever. Like, tell me about that experience. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Black Women Love Dogs. And yeah, have a great day.